So here's a 68 Dodge Charger that is going to auction. It's not my car. I want to have a disclaimer. It's not my car. I didn't do the work. Somebody just asked me to take a quick look at it as the truck is going to be here in an hour. So that's, to pick it up. So I've had roughly an hour to spend with it. There's obviously not much I can do in that time. But I wanted to point out some stuff that, like, if you were going to buy a car at auction, there's some stuff that you want to look for. I'm doing this as an educational video for the guy that had truly purchased the car, who I think has convinced me to, I think I have convinced him to take me to auctions and tell him what to buy and what not to buy. And I would not have bought this car, and I will show you some reasons why. Why I would not have bought this car. And that's not because I have the knowledge of what's wrong with it now. It's what the problems it has are what I was expecting it to have, based on what I could see. So I guess the number one thing is just poor craftsmanship is a big deal. This is, I guess, kind of a resto mod. Kind of not really. It was already well, I'm assuming it was a Charger RT. I'm not going to check the fender tag. It's not worth the effort for me. But let's just assume it is a Charger RT, and originally came with the 440 and a stick. It's got a Tremec 5-speed in it now. I don't mind some upgrades like that. That's not my complaint. It's not that they all have to be pristine original cars, that they're concours and all that. But there's craftsmanship in it, and that's where, when I see all kinds of corners cut, I know I'm going to see a lot of other problems. And we'll show you some of those things. Just from the outside, without even opening the hood, one of the things I noticed is the fenders have these, it doesn't look that big in the photo or in the camera, but these are some pretty substantial fender gaps. Then as we go down, we've got alignment issues with the fender. Looks like they chipped some paint in there. This door is closed. It sticks out all the way down. It's a different shape. And with the door all the way closed, like, it doesn't close. Some of this seems kind of nitpicky, like the trim isn't on well. As you come along, see this door is even worse. It's a different shape. It's really hard to catch in the video, but that door is all the way closed and it does not match. And we got actually a little bit of a small gap here, and it goes into a very large gap. Again, we have a tiny gap here. We got two different gaps here. We have a normal gap, actually, and a very wide, extremely wide gap. And then these fenders, the fender and the door, don't meet well either. Well, this one's better than the other side, but even as far as their mating, how could this one be adjusted so nicely here and so badly here, but then also meet here? And what that is indicative to me is craftsmanship. So we didn't take the time to fit all this stuff before paint. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm not going to look into it too much. But if you see that they can't take the time to fit these parts, well, they probably cut a lot of corners, and I'll show you more. Other things I don't like, all this pitting and stuff on the chrome. So, they really didn't spend, look at all these, there's I don't know if I can get it in here, but there's tool marks from when someone had pried all this stainless off. So the stainless was off because you can see all the pry marks, but they didn't polish it or anything. Obviously, a new window gasket, but it's just a low quality machine, unfortunately. The interior, let's see, I gotta turn on the light. So the interior, they had reused the original. What is this? No, this is just fucking cheap plastic wood grain stuff, and it just, you can see like they didn't put the holes on first, and they cut it weird, and there's like, it's just, the quality's low. And when you see that kind of low quality, you're going to see it everywhere. You know, it's not going to be exclusive just to the dashboard. We got these aftermarket gauges, or at least faces. You know, that's a matter of preference. I'm not going to rag on those, although I'm not sure that they actually work right. The charging, the amp meter doesn't actually work. It's actually higher now. Oh no, it's off. It's low. Temperature reads high. I'm not sure. You know, these three gauges work off of one voltage regulator for the gauges, and if that doesn't work right, then they're all high, or they're all low, and they're all wrong. The amp meter works differently. But here we see like all this stuff is broken. You got the off is broken. That doesn't want to move. I'm not going to touch it. The fan doesn't blow. It just doesn't work. So this is not a car that somebody cared about. This seems to be something that was kind of put together quickly, or on such a budget that it's a detriment to the car. In here we got kind of a wiring nightmare. It's just a mess. It just doesn't look nice. You know, I just topped off the antifreeze, and then of course spilled a bunch, so like that's where the water's from. But you know, we got stuff like, you can drive around with this thing just like that, and we do have a little bit of running issues. It seems to run more on 7 cylinders. You got the, can't be bothered to bolt that down in any way. It's just low quality. Only one fan turns on. The gauge shows that it's running hot, but I'm not sure those gauges are accurate. One fan works, one doesn't. There's a lot of stuff on this car that doesn't work right. And it's unfortunate. Like, who doesn't love a 68? Who doesn't love a 68 Charger? They're beautiful. So it's really disappointed that, you know, someone spent, you know, all this time to make it look nice, but they didn't spend enough time to make it work nice, or run nice, or be nice to drive, or be anywhere near. And of course then the guy buys it, and he's disappointed in the car, and he's just going to send it back to auction, and well, somebody else is going to be disappointed with the car. So, you know, who knows? Maybe the guy that he bought it from, the current owner might have bought it from a guy that was disappointed previously. You just might go through 10 disappointed people before somebody fixes it. You know, like it doesn't make the entire industry look very good. It's incredibly disappointing. And on the other hand, you've got the 64 GTO convertible, 4-speed 389 with a tri-power. It's beautiful. It's great. This is the car you actually want to buy at auction or anywhere. Like, the fit and finish is perfect. The doors close perfect. Everything works perfectly. It's such a great car. So, yeah, there's not much of a video I could do about this car because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just beautiful. Interior's beautiful. It runs great. Sounds great. You know, and here's the difference. Look at this engine compartment. You know, the spark plug wires are kind of long. This could have been done a little better. There's a couple things, but it's not a disaster. And you can see this even has AC added, and it's done so clean. I mean, obviously it doesn't look factory. The date of the, you know, that is not the right era, but that doesn't matter. You know, if you want to have a nice car with AC, look how nice. And they hit the stuff, and it's not all cluttered, and there's not like crap everywhere. This is a much better job. You know, the 68 Challenger could have been as nice as this car. So that wasn't one choice, that was a series of choices. So whoever had restored this one had really done a nice job. So this is what I like to see. I'm actually sad that the guy's selling this, because I would just love to put 10,000 miles on this car and just enjoy the hell out of it with my kids. I think this would be absolutely fantastic. But you know, I'm gonna start doing a series on cars that came from auctions. The GTO is actually kind of boring because there's nothing to say about it other than like it's exactly what you want, and when you go to an auction, this is the car that you think you're buying, and that's the car that you actually get a lot of times. So I'm gonna do a whole series on auction cars. There'll be more in depth. This one, the truck's coming, should be here in 45 minutes to pick it up, so that doesn't leave me much time to finish what I need to do and, you know, do an hour-long video on everything that all of you need to look for. You know, ideally I'd put this up on a lift and I'd show you everything. So in the future, look forward to my review of this auction car and my review of this auction car, which they're not bad, but there's, you know, I'll go over some pointers and teach you some stuff to look over and learn and why. So that's it for today.